Uh, so there is a there is a document which is based on the collections, right? Okay, guys. In the last session, probably you might have uh, understood about the methods that we discussed in the last class, right? So we have the methods like add method, add all method. So basically, these are all the methods I have explained in the last. Okay. So, and I told this is a diagram which you people or you must know about this diagram as well. This is a diagram which is very important diagram for us in understanding the concept of collections. Am I clear with this case? So, do you know this diagram? Could somebody give me reply? Do you know this diagram? Okay. Thank you. Some of you guys replied. That's okay. Thank you. Thanks. So here, I told you for us this collection is important, and there are three types of collections here. One is list, the second one is set, and the third one is queue. Right? In the last, we discussed about this diagram only: list, set, and queue. Correct? So, but basically, whatever the methods that are there in collection, those are common methods for what? These are the common methods for both list, set, and also what? Queue. Okay? So there are methods like add, add all, clear, remove, contains. Am I clear with these guys? Iterator, size. Yeah. Now I will start uh, with the methods of list interface. I told first we are going to look at about list. First, we like to start with list. Okay. Let's understand, guys. Yeah. As we know that list interface is inherited from collection, the methods of list interface are also available in the methods of collection interface are also available in list interface, right? That is a typo mistake. I repeat. Okay. So since list interface is inherited from collection, the methods of collection interface are also available in list interface. And also list interface contains some additional methods, and you can see what are the additional methods here. I repeat once again, you can find what are the additional methods here. So if you go through these methods, guys, you can see there are some methods what you're finding. Just a minute, I'm just adjusting something. Guys, you can see now there is a method called add with index comma element. So this is one more method which will insert the given element at the given index. And there is something called as get. We can pass the index and it will return the element. If you have an element, you can find the index by calling index of. Similarly, if the element is having more than ones, then you can find the last index of the element. You can find the last index of the element. Am I clear with this? Okay, I'll talk about iterator. Today we are going to look at about that. Like iterator, we have something called as list iterator. And if you want to remove the element from a given index, you can call remove method. And suppose if you want to replace the element at a particular index, you can call the set method. If you want to sort the elements, of course, I'm going to show you how do we can sort. We can sort. And if you want to get a portion of a list, then we can call sublist method. We can just provide from index and to index, but elements are returned from index to 2 index minus 1, not up to 2 index, 2 index minus 1. Basically, list is an ordered collection. Okay, I call list as a, once again, I repeat my statement. I call the list as a ordered collection, which means every element in the list having an index. If you take an element, every element in the list is containing an index. For example, the first element of the list. Here, elements are nothing but what? Here, the elements are nothing but what? Elements are nothing but they are objects. Okay, here elements are nothing but what they are? Objects, right? Collection, na? So I told already collection can store only objects. Here elements are nothing but they are objects. Am I clear with you guys? Folks in online, am I clear with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So every element is nothing but one object. For example, that is a list of customers, or I can say list of employees, or I can say list of orders. Okay. Like that we use a word. Here list is nothing but it is a collection. It's a group of objects. Each object is called one element. And every element has an index. List stores elements in index based. That's why we call it as ordered collection. Okay. And it will allow to add duplicate elements also. Which means the same element I can add multiple times also to the list. It will allow us to add the duplicate elements. And every element has an index. Okay, that's why later on we are going to see set. But set we call as unordered collection, and it does not allow the duplicates. Set we call it as unordered collection, and it does not allow the duplicate elements. Means we cannot store the duplicate elements in the set. That we'll discuss later once list is completed. Okay. So far these are the things that you people need to know. Am I clear with this, guys? So far these are the things that you need to know. Okay. Right. So for example, when working with the set, I cannot use index. I cannot use index for retrieving an element, or element does not have an index. Okay, but whereas if you come to the list, yes, it will store the elements in index basis. Q also same thing. We don't have index. So basically, what you are trying to understand is list is a ordered collection where each element in a list contains or has better index. And the index of the list will start at 0. Like array index starts at 0, list index also starts at 0. Okay. So these are the common methods. If you look at this add method, add all method, clear method, remove method, I'm not providing any index parameter because these are methods of what? Collection. Collection interface methods are commonly applicable or commonly inherited to what? List, set, and queue also. Okay. The methods in collection interface are inherited to what? List. Are also inherited to what? Set. Are also to queue. Which means what? The methods in collection interface does not have any index. Am I clear? Now, I think you people might have understood about what I'm trying to say. Am I clear with this, guys? Guys, am I clear with this? Did you understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But list also has additional methods because list is ordered collection where element has an index. So you can use the methods of collection interface plus you can also use the methods of list interface. Am I clear? So what are the methods of list interfaces? Some of the methods, of course, not all, some of the methods, add, get. But when I'm calling add method, I can also pass what? Index. I can also directly call add method without index because this is a method from collection. That methods of collection interface are also available to the list. Plus list also has additional methods. That's what I'm saying. Hope you guys understood because of the concept of inheritance. As you know, inheritance concept, na? So the same concept is applicable here also. So am I good with this, guys, so far?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead. Today, yeah. So first you people need to know about what what are the additional methods in the list interface. Okay. You know, these are interfaces, right? Now we need to start with the implementation classes. See, we know collection interface, we know list interface. And what are the new methods in list interface also? We just now discussed. Of course, all the methods we are going to use in the programming as well. Now, who's a class implements this list interface is array list. So we have to start our discussion with what now? Array list class. Once array list class is completed, then we can use linked list class. Okay. Next one is vector. Okay. Now, let's start with the array list class, guys. We want to start with the array list class today. We want to start with the array list class today. Folks, everyone. So let's understand about this array list class. Let us understand about the array list class, guys. Okay, now let's understand with the array list class. Okay, let's go ahead, guys. Let's go ahead. We are understanding about array list class. Actually, array list class, okay, array list class internally uses a resizable array to store the elements. Dynamic array otherwise. Because, for example, if you take an array, you already know about concept of arrays, right? So when you create an array, we know that array size is fixed. Once array is created, we can't able to increase the size of the array as well as we cannot able to decrease the size of an array. Am I clear with this? Once array list is created, we cannot increase the size as well as we cannot decrease the size. Am I good with this, guys? Okay. For example, see, if you create an array like this, int array, ARR equals to new int of 10. So what are the indexes of this? What are the indexes for the elements of this array? 0 to 9. And can we increase the size by 20 now once it is created after this statement?
No.
Can we decrease the size to 5?
No.
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 So this is called what? Once array is created, we can't change the size. It's fixed. Okay. But once one come to array list class is not like that. Array list class internally uses array only, but it is a dynamic array or resizable array for storing the elements. Here elements are nothing but not integer values. Elements are what? Objects. Elements are nothing but objects. So am I good with this point, guys? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the first point, let me write, then later I just want to say something like this. So array list class internally uses a dynamic array. Another word of saying the same thing, or we can say resizable array to store the elements. Array list class internally uses a dynamic array, resizable array to store what? The elements. Then next I want to say something. Okay. See, always remember when we are in collections, elements are nothing but not integer values or not float values. They are all called objects. Suppose if I'm adding an integer value, it is stored as integer object. Okay, but not like a primitive value. Okay. So in Java, we have int is a data type. Int or integer is a class, which we call them as wrapper classes. Integer, double, float, character. Char is a data type. Character is a class. Boolean is a data. Boolean is a class. First letter capital. These are all called one name wrapper classes. For example, int is what? Data type, right? But int or integer is what? Class. Int or integer is what? Class. For example, you take double is what? Data type. But D capital double is class. Just observe it, guys. I'm just explaining. Okay. For example, char is a data type. But character is a class. So int has integer class. Double has double class. Char has character class. Like that in Java, there are primitive types available. And for all the primitive types, object type also available. Int is a primitive type. Its object type is integer. Double, char, character, boolean, float, byte, short, long, like that. Hope this is very simple for everyone to understand. Okay. It uses a dynamic array or resizable array to store the elements. Guys, suppose if I am creating an array list object, when we create an array list object, okay, by default, I repeat once again, by default, what happens by default? The internally dynamic array is created with a size for 10 elements. I repeat once again, with a size for how many elements here? 10 elements. Guys, suppose if we create an array list object, and by default, if you don't provide any size at the time of creating, the capacity of the array list object is how much now? 10 elements. Okay. See, for example, guys, observe it. Let me write here so that you people can understand. Then later I'll add to the notes. Guys, look at this now, everyone. What I'm saying is, suppose I have created like this now, array list of integer. Okay, array list of integer. Am I clear? This is called generic type, as you people know that. For example, list is equal to new array list of integer. This is a way of creating one array list object. What is of integer? This is the parameter type. This is called generic concept. As we discussed about generics concept, and we discussed about what the use of generic classes. Okay. And when you're working with the generics, you should provide the type parameter within angle brackets. Okay. The type of the objects in angle bracket. Okay. I'm writing what here? Integer. Integer is a wrapper class. I mean, integer is a class. Int is a data type. Integer is a class. Tell me here, I'm creating one new array list object. Okay. The right side of the statement will create what? Right side of the statement will create what? Array list object, a new array list object. Are you providing any size here at the time of creating array list object? No. For the default internally, a resizable array is created with the size 10. Means it will store 10 elements. Okay. I repeat once again. The default capacity of the array list object is 10. Okay. For example, what happens in case if I add more than 10 elements? Okay, if suppose I'm adding 11th element, once the size is reached to the maximum, then
Increase.
50% gets increased. The size of the array list gets increased by 50%. Size of the array list gets increased by 50%. Means what's the size now presently? It's 10. Suppose if I'm adding 11th element, what happens now? The internal array size is increased by 50%. 10 plus 50% means 5. 10 plus 5, 15. When I'm adding 11th element, the size becomes 15. Am I clear with this? Am I clear with this? Am I clear with
Yes.
this, right? Yeah. If, for example, if I'm adding the 11th element, the size becomes 15. Okay, 15. What happens if, for example, I'm adding 16th element? Again, 50% of the existing array. 50% means 15 into 50%. Are you getting my point? 15 into 50% means plus 7. 7 plus 15, 22. The size of the array becomes, internal size of the array becomes 22. Like that. Like that. Next time it becomes 33. For example, I'm adding 23rd element. 23rd element means what? Size 22 now plus 50% increased means 11. 22 plus 11, 33. Like that. Do you understood my point?
Yes.
Okay. Next, suppose when I'm creating an array list, I can also provide the size with something called 20. This is now tell me internally the array is created with the size 20. If you don't provide the size, this size is not the capacity. If you don't provide the capacity, by default capacity will be 10. And
10.
what happens when the capacity is reached or crossed?
Increase 50%.
Automatically it will increase by
50%.
50%.
Automatically the size of the array list will be increased internally with 50%. 50%. Okay, 50%. Am I clear with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. Good. Suppose if I'm creating an array list object like this now. Now tell me this array list object can store this is array list class only, but it can store only what values?
Integer values.
I cannot duplicates also. For example, say I'm adding list dot add of 10. Actually 10 is integer value, right? 10 is an integer value. But how it will store internally? As an integer object. As an integer object. As an integer object. Am I clear with this? It will store like what? Integer object. Am I clear? Good. Good. See, otherwise I can also write like this. New integer of 10. New means what again? I'm creating object. Which class?
Object.
Integer class. I can also store like this. But from Java 5 version 5, you know there is a concept given called as auto boxing. From Java 5, there is a concept given called as auto boxing. Means what? A primitive value is automatically converted to object as and when required. That's called auto boxing feature. Primitive type is converted to the reference type automatically as and when it is required based on requirement. That is done by JVM itself or compiler itself. This concept name is called what? Auto boxing. At the very starting class of core Java, I've told all these points. Okay, guys, it's long back now. Maybe you may forget. Otherwise, please recollect it. Okay, I can add 10 now. How this 10 is stored internally in this array list? It is stored as integer object. This 10 is stored as integer object. For example, if I'm adding list dot add of 30. For example, again I'm adding list dot add of 10. Now 10 is a duplicate element. It's a duplicate element to this list. Yes. But still it is allowed. It won't give any error or exception. It is added. It is added, guys. It is not going to give any error or it is not going to give any exception. Am I clear with this?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay.
But the duplicates are not allowed.
Allowed.
Right?
The duplicates are allowed in array list. Okay. We are in list now.
Okay.
Yeah. In set it is not allowed, but in we are in list now. So in list it is allowed. So am I good with this point so far?
Yeah, I have another question.
Hmm.
Before, I mean, like for the first line, and this you write another line, right? List dot add dot new integer.
Yeah.
So when we compare with first line and second line means we are initializing the new object. So whatever, I mean, like you wrote the second line, new object means existing list, we are adding one more object, right? It means like it is going to be increasing the array list size.
Yeah. See, array list is a collection object, right? For example, you
Yes.
feel that this is one array list object.
Hmm.
You feel this is an array list object, and this has index from 0 to 9 by default because size is internal. This is internally like a resizable array.
Hmm.
Index is 0 here. Index is 0 to index 9. Okay. If you say list dot add of 10, what is added in this? One integer object is added at the first place with value 10. Okay, with the value 10. For example, I'm decreasing this size. Am I clear with this now?
Yeah.
Okay, like this now. At index 0, the element is an integer object. What's the value in integer object?
10.
10. That's what 10 I am passing. Next one is 30. Means one more integer object. At index 1. Next, one more integer object at index 2. Like this. At index 2. Am I good with this?
Yes.
Okay. So here also, what is the element here? 10. Here also the element is 10. The object is 10. That's what I'm saying. It's a duplicate object, or we can duplicate element because we call in collection every object as an element. This is one element, this is one element. Both are integer objects, but they are duplicate elements. But still it is allowed because we are working with list. List allows duplicate elements. You can store duplicate elements into the list. It won't give any error. Am I clear with
Yes.
this? Am I clear with your doubt?
Yes, yes. But my question is not this. Instead of 10, list dot add, instead of 10, you wrote like new integer, right?
We can also say new. I'm writing here now also new integer of 10.
Oh, okay. So yeah, now I got it. So it is going to be stored, I mean, like value, whatever we are giving in that integer number. Yeah, okay, I got it.
Okay, thanks. Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
sir, I have one question. So
Sure.
how does an array list automatically grow? Have any internal, have any region or
There is no reason. There is a formula to apply size plus size double shift 1. Size right shift 1. This is a formula. It uses applies internally. Okay. And it will increase the array size, internal array size by applying this formula. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So instead of saying that formula and all, simply I'm saying 50%. That is equal to 50%.
Oh,
That is equal to 50%. That's why I'm simply saying 50%. Okay.
okay.
Okay, guys. Now, see, for example, if I'm creating array list of, suppose I'm creating, guys. Let's say, for example, I'm writing something else. Array list of employee list is equal to new array list of employee. Okay, you can see, but guys, could you tell me now? Now this array list can store what objects only? The second array list object can store, for example, I'm calling it as list 1. And here I'm calling it as list 2. Could you tell me what the second list object contains?
Employees.
Employee.
Yes. This second list can store only what elements?
Employee object.
Employee objects. The first list can store only
Integer
Integers.
object.
integer objects. Means what? List 1 stores elements of integer
Integer.
object. List 2 stores elements of
Employee object.
elements as employee objects. But in both the case, I'm using array list class only, na?
Yeah.
One class only, but I want to use it for multiple types. Am I clear? This is where generics concept came into picture.
Mm.
Right? Are we creating multiple classes or one class? Class is one only, but we can use it for multiple types. Okay, multiple types. Here array list is used for integer objects. Here array list is used for employee elements, like that. Am I clear? Now what I can say, list2 dot add of E1. Let's say, who is E1? Employee object. Of E2, who is E2?
Employee.
Employee object. Am I clear with this? For example, I'm writing list2 dot add of new employee of, suppose employee number 111, employee name John. For example, I'm having a class like this. I'm assuming that I have a class called employee class. Okay, na? So tell me, what is the meaning of new?
We are passing the.
We are creating an object, and that object we are passing to this add method. Am I clear?
Yes.
This part will create the object of employee that is added to the list. Now tell me, this list has how many employees now? I mean, this list has how many elements now?
3.
3 elements. This list has how many elements now? 3 elements. 3 elements. Am I clear with this so far?
Hmm.
Did you understood about how we are creating a collection object to hold the items now, to hold the elements now?
Yes.
Right? Good.
Yes.
Cool. I will start writing the statements because I have not written any points as of now. It's used a dynamic array, resizable array to store the elements. Okay. If an array list object is created, without specifying the capacity or size, anything, we can say the capacity or we can say the size. Actually, size represents the number of elements available in the list. Okay. Okay. Without specifying the capacity, then the internal array is created. Okay. The internal array is created with size 10. Am I good with this? Then the internal array is created with size how much now? The internal array is created with the size how much now? 10. 10. That's what default capacity I told, na?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Let's go ahead. Okay. Internal is created with the size 10. What happens if the capacity of array list object is crossed? If the
50%.
yeah, if the
It increases by 50%. Additional 50%.
yes. if the size of an array list reaches to the capacity, then its capacity gets incremented by 50%. Next, What is the other point I can say? If I mean, while creating an array list object, we can specify the initial capacity. We can specify the initial capacity. We can specify the initial capacity also. Am I clear with this now? Right? Without specifying the capacity, then internal array is created with initial capacity better. With initial capacity as 10. It's better word I can say. So let's see guys how we can do that. I can also create one array list object like this. For example, array list of integer list one is equal to what I can write new, like this I can write. This is the way how we write of integer. Okay, next what I'm writing, array list of integer list 2 is equal to new array list of integer with the capacity, for example, 5. See what the initial capacity of the first object. First object list 1 has initial capacity of 10. List 2 has initial capacity of 5. What happens when I'm adding sixth element?
Capacity will be increased.
Right. 50% is increase in a.
Yes.
Now tell me, list 1 has initial capacity of. List 1 has initial capacity as 10. And a list 2 has
5.
Yeah. Initial capacity as 5. What happens when we are adding the 11th element to the list 1? While adding 11th element to the list 1, its capacity
7.25.
its capacity will be
Increased by 50%.
Increased by 50%, increase it to 15. Its capacity gets increased to 15 because 11th element we are adding 10 plus 10 is the initial capacity plus 50%. 10 plus 5, 15. What about the second one? While adding the sixth element. While adding the sixth element to the list 2. What happens now? Its capacity will be increased to how much now?
50%.
50%. 50% means 2.5 na?
Yeah.
But we don't have any,
7.25.
but we don't have something like that. Okay.
22.
We have 7, we have 8, we have 9th element, but we don't have any 7.25 element. Na?
Yeah.
Index is always an integer value, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what. Okay. Tell me, its capacity will be increased to 7. 50% of 5 is 2.5 actually. But it will take the value of 2 only, not decimal point value. 5 plus 2, 7. Clear. Okay, now? Now, did you understand now? Right. Next. See, let's understand about, guys. Okay, this is better if I explain now. Let's create a small example how to iterate the elements. See, guys. For example, I have created one array list object. How do I create array list of integer? We can use integer, we can use customer, we can use employee. In our next example, we will use employee. But as of now, for explaining, I'm taking integer. Or I can write array list of strings also. What's the meaning of array list of string? Array list of string. List 1 is equal to new array list of string. What does it mean?
It will store the string value.
It will array list object can be used to store what elements here?
Yes.
The elements are strings. Elements are what here? Strings. Okay. Guys, am I clear with this so far? Okay. Right. What I'm saying now, list 1 dot add of everybody. John. List 1 dot add of Ellen. List 1 dot add of Miller. List 1 dot. Okay. Everybody, are you getting my point? Yes. List 1 dot add of John. List 1 dot add of. Okay. Is everybody, am I clear with this? Everybody, am I clear with this? Ronald. Am I clear? Tell me here. This is called which element? Duplicate element?
Yeah.
Okay, duplicate. Tell me it is added or not added?
Added.
It is
We'll
added.
add it.
It is added. Duplicate, but it is added. Am I clear?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Because list can store what elements? Duplicate elements. That's why it is added. Now come to the point. Everybody. Okay, I'm adding the elements to the array list. I agree. It's very clear. But the thing is now how to iterate this. Means how to read one by one element from this list. Okay, I'll tell you guys. If I want to read the elements of a list, whether it could be array list or linked list, if I want to read the elements of list, if I want to retrieve the elements from array list or linked list, any list, then we have 3 options. Okay, I repeat once again. How many options are there? 3 options are there. One option is we can use for each loop. What we can use?
For each loop.
For each loop. For each loop means for loop only.
Yes.
For each loop means for loop only, na?
Yes.
Am I clear?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
For each loop is nothing but what loop only?
Sorry.
For each loop is nothing but what loop only?
For loop.
For loop only. Am I clear? For loop only. For each loop is nothing but for loop only, na?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can use that. Second, we have another option called iterator. People call it as iterator. Any word I can use. Iterator. There is one more thing called as list iterator. So let's understand the 3 things today. This will give you a knowledge. Observe here, guys. Okay, let me write another heading here. Retrieving elements. Retrieving elements. Tell me, guys, how can we retrieve the elements from this list? There are
3 ways.
3 ways. There are 3 ways.
Yes, sir.
One way is what?
For each.
One way is we can go for, one way is we can go for
each, it means
for each loop. Second way is we can go for iterator. It is an interface, iterator interface. Third way we can use list iterator interface. Guys, now did you understood the 3 things? What are the 3? One is for each loop. Next one is iterator interface. Next one is list iterator interface. Okay. First we start with which loop? For each loop.
For loop.
Do you know how to write for each loop?
Yeah. So
Sorry.
For
Could you tell me what is the first how to write for each loop?
for
for
entire
each
set.
Yeah, first I'm just going to write, the heading for each. Tell me. Could you tell me how to use for each loop? For. Tell me for what? That is called normal for loop. There are two types of for loops are there. One is for loop. Do you know first of all what is the syntax of normal for loop?
initialization,
Very good.
condition, increment, decrement.
First part is initialization part, after
Yes.
followed by.
Condition.
No. First part is initialization part, followed by
Condition.
condition part, followed by increment or
Increment
decrement.
and decrement.
Increment or decrement part. That is called what? Normal for loop.
Normal for loop.
But we are not talking about normal for loop. We are talking about what?
For
For
each.
each loop.
For each loop. So could you tell me what's the syntax of writing the for each loop? For
Array or collection we can use.
we can use error collection. That's okay. But before that, we also need something.
Condition.
For contains, say, data type, variable name, colon, array or collection. That's a syntax. For, okay, in for statement, what I should pass? Data type, variable name, colon, array or collection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It means object type database.
Yes. String, string, str,
Yeah.
colon,
Colon.
list one. Okay.
Yes.
Am I clear with this now?
Yes.
Could you tell me
Yes, sir.
what is string here? Acting like data type.
String is object.
Str,
Variable
name, colon,
name.
list one. Do you know how to read this? Up
For
to
each
this,
string.
up to this you read like for each.
Yes.
Read it as a string. For each string. For each string
For
value
each
otherwise. For each what value? String
For
value.
each string.
Colon means in.
In list one.
In list. List is a collection. Na?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then tell me how to read this loop.
For each string.
For
in
each
list one.
string in collection. For each string in collection. Am I clear with this?
Yes.
For each string in collection, what you want to do? Write in the body. For each string in collection, what you want to do? Write in the body. I want to print it. How to print? System.out.println str. Am I clear with this, guys?
Yes.
All nine folks. Remaining guys, am I clear? Am I clear, Aksh? Am I clear, Dan? Am I clear, JP? Am I clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Am I clear, Lakshmi, Rav, Sri, Samir, Kumar, Shatakshi, Suja, everyone? Yeah. Okay. Am I clear with all these things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay. This is the for each loop, guys. Yeah. Guys, look at this, everyone. This is the way of using for each loop. What is the second option that we can use to retrieve the elements? Iterator. We can use iterator or iterator, any word you can use. Next, I'm talking about iterator. This you have to listen. Actually, what happens is, whenever we call iterator, there is a method called iterator or iterator, any word I can use. Whenever you call iterator method, whenever we call iterator method, it will return an iterator object. It will return one iterator object. Actually, iterator is an interface in Java. Iterator interface, list iterator is one more interface. So first, let me show you. Let me open Google and type java.util.iterator. See guys, what is iterator? Interface. Okay, it is a generic type. This is called type
Yeah.
parameter. Type parameters are enclosed within
Angle bracket.
angle brackets. Type parameter, what capital E represents the type of elements returned by this iterator. Type of element is capital E. Am I clear? Okay. It is what? An iterator over a collection. Okay. Iterator over a collection. I'll tell you what the meaning of iterator over a collection. See the methods here. There is a method called what? Has next. This method for each remaining we'll discuss later. It is in Java 8. Default methods we'll discuss in Java 8. Has next. Has next returns which value? Boolean. Returns true if the iteration has more elements. Next is a method. Returns the next element in the iteration. Has next is a method. Next is a method. Even remove is also a method. Removes the underlying collection. Removes from the underlying collection the last element returned by this iterator. So 3 methods you please listen. Has next, next and remove. These are the methods of which interface? Iterator. It is an iterator over a collection. What's the meaning of iterator over a collection? I'll tell you. First of all, how can we get the iterator object? Like this. I'll show you like this. I'm talking with iterator. I'm talking with iterator interface. See guys, everybody. Iterator of integer it. Okay, iterator. I'm taking reference variables it equal to list1 dot iterator. Please understand. This is method. Which method can return iterator object?
Yes.
Iterator method. There is a iterator method in collection interface. It will return what object? Iterator object. This method will return this object. Which object? Iterator. What's the name of the method also? Iterator. Okay. This method is given in collection interface. This method is given in. I'll go on to document. In the document, you can see these are the methods. You can see there is a method called what? Returns an iterator object over this what? Collection. What's the method name? Iterator. It is a method from which interface? Collection interface. Am I clear with this? Okay. Now tell me if the method is from collection interface, that method we can use it with list also, no?
Yes.
We can use it with the list objects. We can use it with the set objects. We can also use with queue objects. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What it creates? Iterator over a collection. What's the meaning of iterator over a collection? It will just create one pointer over the collection. For example, this is a list now. It's a list of strings. For example, this is a list of strings. For example, it's a list of strings. Could you tell me what are our elements? John, Allen, Miller, John, Ronald. This is John. This is Allen. This is Miller. This is again John and Ronald. Okay. Could you tell me, this is called my list now. What's the name of this list object? List1. What's the name? List1. What are the elements? John, Allen. These are all string objects, no? Miller. All these are objects. I am not writing again like a circle. Again John. Last guy is Ronald. Folks, everyone, am I clear? Folks, everyone, am I clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Tell me now, we have iterator interface now.
Yes.
Okay. Now, whenever we call iterator method, it returns an iterator over a collection. Over a collection means what? On this entire collection, we have an iterator. We have an iterator over this entire collection. Over this entire collection, we have an iterator. Better if I increase the font size. Sorry. Circle size. Now, did you understand? Now we have an iterator over this collection. What the circle represents? The circle represents iterator. Guys, the circle represents what now? Iterator. Otherwise, one thing I will do, circle I'll take big, because people want to understand it better. That's better. Guys, tell me, who is this IT? What is IT here? Iterator object. Iterator is created based on over this collection, and it points before the, it maintains a cursor. Iterator maintains a cursor. That cursor is by default pointing at before the first element. I need reverse arrow. Tell me, where is the cursor is pointing? Before the first element. It maintains a cursor internally. This is cursor. Tell me once again, it is what here? Cursor. And where is this cursor pointing? Before the first element. Before the first element. Am I good with this, guys? Everyone? Folks? Online folks, am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This is a cursor of iterator. Where is this cursor by default? Before the first element. First element. Tell me now, this iteration has more elements or not? How to check? There is a method called hasNext. What hasNext method checks? It checks for whether more elements are there in this iteration or not. More elements means simply it is going to check for next element. It's going to check for the next element in the iteration. Tell me now, in this iteration, in this iterator or iteration, tell me now, is the next element is there?
John.
Yes.
Element is there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So hasNext method is true.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
ln will be iterate.
Okay. If the next element of the cursor exists, returns what? True.
True.
Okay. Okay. If true, then how to retrieve the next element? Call the next method.
Next.
Call which method? Next method. So tell me, next method, what next method will do? It will return the, it will first move the cursor. Guys, it will first return the next element and will then move the cursor to the next element. Tell me what happens when you call the next method. First you'll return the next element. Who is the next element of the cursor? The first element here, John. After that, the cursor is moved to
ln.
this element. Tell me once again, how to check whether next element exists in the cursor after the cursor or not?
hasNext.
hasNext. hasNext. Had a hasNext method returns true because there is a next element. Okay. Tell me. Then how to retrieve the next element of the cursor?
Next method.
Next method. Whenever next method is called, first you return the next element of the cursor, ln, then cursor is moved to the next element. Am I clear? Guys, am I clear?
Yes.
Tell me, is the next element, now tell me again how to check whether next element is there in this iteration. Again hasNext method. Same methods repeated. Tell me, is the next element exist? hasNext?
Yes.
Yes, true. True means which method called? Next method.
Next.
Next method first written the next element. Who is the next element of this cursor?
Minimum.
Miller. Then after that, the cursor is moved to the.
Miller.
Then the cursor is moved to the this element. This element. Could you tell me again? We'll repeat, no problem. Could you tell me again which method is called to check for the next element?
Has next.
As next.
As
Yes. Yes.
Returns true.
Returns
Then
true.
next-
Then which method is called to retrieve the next element? Next method. Next method. Next method will return the next element John, then moves the cursor to the John. Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Tell me again, has next method.
Yes,
True.
as next.
True.
Returns
Return
true.
Next method will be called.
Next method is called. Next method returns what? Ronald.
Yes.
Then the cursor is moved to the next element. Ronald.
Or sir, has next method is result is got the false, then
That's what we are discussing. That's why I'm explaining. Otherwise, why? Okay. Now next, tell me. Where is the cursor currently?
Ronald.
At Ronald. What's the next point I'm asking? Which method is called to check for the next element of the cursor?
Next method.
Has next.
As next.
Has next. Okay, tell me from the current position of the cursor, is there a next element of this iteration? No. No. What has next method returns?
False.
False. If has next method returns false, what does it mean?
There
There
is
are no more elements. There are
no more.
no more. If there are no more elements are there, we will just terminate the loop.
Yes.
Did you understand my point?
Yes.
Am I clear with this? So initially, where is this cursor placed? Before the
Element.
first element. Before the first element. Before the first element. Am I clear with this?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I am writing while loop like this. While guys, while it dot has next. While it dot
Yes.
has next.
Sir,
Okay.
I have a doubt.
Hmm.
In top line, iterator of integer or string?
Sorry, you are correct. Thanks for correcting me. It is string because our elements are strings, na? List
Yes,
is a collection of strings, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, correct. Thanks. Okay. Now, while it dot has next. Tell me, this is a while loop, na? You know already how the while loop executes. First, whenever control enters into the while statement, first it is going to check for the condition. If condition is true, then the control will enter into the body of the while loop, will execute the body of the while loop. After executing the body of the while loop, again the cursor comes back to the condition. Did you understand me? Again, if condition is true, then control enters into the body of the while loop, will execute the body of the while loop. After executing the body of the while loop, again it will come back to the condition. This time if the condition is false, then suppose if this time condition is false, then control moves out of the while loop. Am I clear? So what to write here? I have to write something like this. Inside this, observe it, I am writing string str is equal to it dot next. Okay, system dot out dot println of str. Am I clear with this? Okay, what next method returns? What has next method checks?
As next method checks for
Has
Next
next method
element.
checks for
next element is
next element in the next element after the cursor. Checks for the next element after the cursor. If next element exists, returns true, otherwise returns false. Yeah. Okay. Then how to retrieve the next element? How can you get the next element of the cursor? Next method. Has next only checks, but how to retrieve that element? Next method. Whenever you call next method, first it returns the next element of the cursor, then cursor will be moved to the next element. Am I clear with this? Okay, let me write the points. Okay, I will add the points. Point is okay, iterator or iterate anything. Iterator interface has three important methods. Who are the three important methods? One is has next. Okay, what this has next method? What this has next method? You know, first of all, iterator maintains a cursor, right? Better.
Yes.
What iterator maintains? Could you tell me? Iterator maintains a cursor. It maintains what? Cursor. And where is the cursor pointing? It maintains a cursor, and it is initially placed at
Point.
before the first element. Before the first element. Okay, what are the methods here? Has next method. What a has next method checks?
It will
Next
search
element
for
is
Checks
there.
for the next element. Next element after the cursor. Am I right or not? Checks for the next element after the cursor. Tell me, if the next element exists, then returns true.
true.
If next element exists, then
Right.
returns true. Otherwise,
Yes.
returns false. Tell me, what's the second method?
Next.
Next method. What next method? What next method? Simply, it doesn't check anything. Next method, what it will do?
Retrieve
Returns the
next element.
next element of the cursor. Am I right or not? Okay, next element of the cursor. After returning the next element. After returning the next element, the cursor will be moved to the next element. Move to the next place or next element, anything. Move to the next element. Am I clear with this? There is one more method, that is remove. Of course, this we have not discussed, but when time comes, I'll explain. What it will do? It will remove the element. See, first you call next method. Cursor is moved now. Okay. It will remove. Everybody getting my point? It will remove the element. Okay, it'll remove
Index of the last element.
No, it will remove is a method from iterator. It will remove the element. It will remove the element from the collection. From the list or collection, anything. Okay. From the collection or from the list. Am I good with this so far? Am I good with this so far? It will remove the element from the list. Am I good?
Yes.
How many methods are there?
Yes, sir. 3 methods.
Yeah, 3 methods. Has next method, next
and
method, and remove method. These are the 3 methods of what?
an iterator.
Iterator. Okay, iterator. How can you retrieve the elements one by one? By using a while loop. While loop. Okay. What are the 2 important methods? One is has next method. Next one is next method. Yeah. I'll give this example. First, I'll copy this entire image. And also I need to share the notes. And tomorrow I'll tell you about list iterator also. But currently, for the time being, I want to conclude here. So first, let's make it on desktop as IMG1. Now I'll go to the document. Now here I want to insert the picture.
Remove method removes the underlying collection, the last element returned by the iterator, right?
That is nothing but simply, that is okay, definition point of view, but our point of view, it will remove the element from the list. Am I right?
Yes, but it won't follow any methods, right? Like FIFO or LIFO, it won't follow any.
No, no, no. Iterator, while iterating, when you call the next method, cursor is jumping there, na?
Hmm.
Once the cursor
Yes.
is jumped to there, it will remove.
Okay.
Okay. Done. So far, how many options I have explained for retrieving elements?
3 times.
Two options so far I've explained.
Okay, yeah.
Like
Origin.
like iterator, we have one more thing. Who is that?
List
List.
iterator.
List iterator. I'll talk about this tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. This is a collections document. I will share it with you. Just wait for a minute.